Hey there, and welcome to another session of the Leaky Bucket podcast. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Apex Creative Agency. This is 1 million, or almost 1.1 million actually, turnover creative agency based out of Bristol, making £118,000 profit a year. Now, I'm going to show you how we can find another £100,000 of profit. So let's go. So what I've got here, I've got my notes, guys. It's on my Remarkable right in front of me. I'm going to work through that, give you all the information I need. These are just things that I made notes on when I was talking with Mark. So let's get my appropriate notes up. Okay. So, I'm wrong. 2 seconds. Brilliant. Okay. So first thing, session 1, what we do is we go in and we review the bank statements. So first of all, what I've got here is the bank statements. Okay, this is for the 1st of January through to the 31st of March. So the the most recent full 3 months that we have available. Okay, so what I did is started scrolling through. I want to look for big things that give me opportunity based on various notes and things as well that I picked up from my conversation with Mark, right? And one of them was this, the Paintworks office rent for Bristol, right? So it's there in January, and as you'd expect with rent, I wanted to make sure it was monthly as opposed to quarterly, and there it is again in February, and we also got it again in March, right? So I'm confident, £4,500 a month. So I questioned Mark. I was like, Mark, seems quite high. There's only 5 of you in the team, you told me, including you. Like, I know Bristol can be a little bit steep on occasions, but £4,500 for that seems quite a bit. And what Mark told me was he took out that lease a number of years ago, and the team was growing well at that point, and he wanted something that he felt could be great for going into the future. So that office has space for 30 people. 30. So obviously we went through it. We basically went, okay, it's lovely to have an office that could sit 30 people, but surely it just looks a bit empty and it just doesn't feel right as a space. So we basically explored what would something look like that was suitable but smaller. So maybe not just for 5 people, because that's no room to grow. So we want a little bit of space. So we're sort of talking 8 to 10 people, that sort of space. And he did some research, or we did some research together. We did a quick bit of looking around, looked at some, ruled them out because it's not quite the right vibe, not the right area. And what we managed to settle on was that you could definitely get something for 28 grand a year. Okay. That's a £26,000 saving per year. 26 grand. Basically half. And we weren't being fussy. Right, so we were being fussy, yeah? Because there were lots of things in there that we mentioned, yeah, it's fine, and we maybe can get that for like 15 grand. It's not good enough. It's not going to give the image that they want, right? So we've gone for 28. So what we need to do is whip over to our tool, and we need to capture that. So we found it. It was building and rent costs. It was oversized premises. The annual impact we said was 26,000. What action needs to require? Find smaller premises. Right. Now, the lease happens to actually be coming to an end at the end of this month. So that cost probably is going to go up as well. So there's probably more than £26,000 that's going to be saved. But we can't know that, yeah? So we just go for that, right? So 26 grand. Okay, back to the bank statements. What else did we then note? So I noted this Adobe Creative Cloud, right? Standard for a marketing agency is standard software that's being used, £600 a month. Just asked some quick questions on it. And my feeling was it seemed a little bit high, not massively, but a little bit. And anyway, Mark told me that he wasn't quite sure what he was paying for. So we dug out the invoice relating to this, and it's for 8 users. Not the 5 that he actually needs. They're not on any long-term plan. They can change that quite easily. It's a simple log into the app, remove the 3 users they're not using, and job done. Not only that, He's been paying for 8 users since the middle of 2022. So the best part of 4 years. We can't go back and change the past. We can only change the future. It's not going to get any refunds or anything like that. But we did have a look with that difference, which we actually just actioned in the session together because there was no point in going away and doing it. We'd gone in, we'd had a look what difference it was going to make, and might as well just action it there and then. So literally within that session, we managed to reduce the cost by £2,700 a year. Okay, it's in software and tools, and it be creative users to hire. The annual impact was 2,700. Action required. Well, actually, we've already done it, but it was just downgrade. Yeah. Downgrade the users. Okay. Okay, back to the bank statements again. Next thing was Asana. Now, the reason this jumped out was because I saw Asana in here, and then as I was scrolling through, I noticed Notion, and I was like, these tools do the same thing. Yeah. Tell me, Mark, why have you got both? And he was like, so we've been using Asana for years. Somebody told me about Notion, and it was much cheaper. I put Notion in place, but we were like, we don't want to get rid of Asana yet, because what if Notion's not very good because it seems too cheap? Yeah, it's like half the cost, a little bit under half the cost. But 6 months ago, they actually went with the fact that they're just going to use Notion. What they didn't do was cancel Asana. Now, again, they're just on a rolling 30-day contract with that. So we did it in the session, logged into Asana, and just went, cancel it, job done. If we go to software and tools, the description is Asana and Notion being used for the same thing. The action required was cancel Asana. And the saving, though, I didn't note what that was. So it was £124 a month. So it's 1488 was the saving there. What we then did was quickly just scrolled through and went, got Hootsuite was one of the next things we had a quick look at. So we decided to actually dive in quite a few of these, being that there weren't actually that many transactions in the business. It's quite simple. But Hootsuite, Mark confirmed they haven't actually done any social media scheduling for clients for quite some time. I'm just looking at what my note said. I don't think I actually. Oh no, they stopped it around 6 months ago, same time as around Notion. So this sort of led on. So again, £89 a month, not needed. We quickly logged in and cancelled. So the thing was Hootsuite no longer needed. The saving was 1068, and it was just cancel. Okay. And then again, still on the bank statement, so still part of session 1. I noticed the BT Business, the broadband and phone bundle, was quite high at £698 for the month. We just simply, at the moment, went on to BT and just went for the package that they're on. What would that cost? And we were quite quickly be able to see that same bundle today that they're on is £400. So £298 a month cheaper from the same supplier. It's just the fact that they were on a 2020 contract and it's just stayed at that level and they've never really done anything with it. So we've got a couple of options, right? One is they can shop around if they want to and go and save more and do whatever. Or they can not have the hassle and they could simply just go, let's just contact BT and go, can we just get onto a fixed contract, please? And get £298 a month for it off it. We've gone for this. This isn't about trying to find the absolute maximum. It's finding the quick wins of what's impactful. So we've gone for the fact that they're just going to renegotiate with BT. So at £298 times 12, that's 3,576. So this is on utilities. So BT Internet phone on old rates. The impact, as I just said, was 3,576, and it's call and I suppose call and negotiate. I suppose is probably in place. If they can't quite get what they want, then obviously there might be less savings in place. or they've got the option, the fact that they can shop around. Okay. Just back to the bank statements. Let me just double check there was nothing else we found. So notice the Adobe Creative, Asana, Hootsuite, BT Business. We did look over some of the other areas, but they didn't make sense. So like, yeah, they've got a copywriter in place. Maybe they could shop around and find a different copywriter, but yeah, just it was a lot of effort involved relating to that. Google Workspace was on par. Director's drawings in there. There's some office supplies, random stuff from Amazon. The March salaries, I didn't think they were excessive for that size of business. Yeah, everything just made a degree of sense. There's a timing issue in terms of the PAYE. They pay the PAYE at the same time they pay the salaries. It could be dragged out a bit. The business isn't cash poor. It's quite good for cash. So overall, that's what we managed to do. So if we just whip back to our app, what we managed to find then was all of these things. So the oversized premises, the Adobe creative users were too high, the Asana and Notion were doing the same thing, the Hootsuite, the fact that it's no longer needed, and the BY internet on the old rates. And all of those things add up to £34,832. And we found this in just over an hour. Just sitting down, going through the bank statements, and us questioning everything. And walked away from that session with Asana cancelled, Hootsuite cancelled, and Adobe. So that's what, £1,000, £2,500, nearly £5,000 out of just the first session. Literally there and then, sorted, ready for next month. Okay, and that's how session 1 rolled. Hey there, right, welcome to session 2. Now, session 2, I am going to take you through the profit and loss, everything to do with all margins and pricing. Okay, so just that quick recap that in session 1, we found £34,832. Session 2, let's get into it and let's get underway. So, first of all, what we were going to do was I went in to review the profit and loss of this company. Now, for them, the last completed year end was 31st of December 2024. They recently had those accounts. They haven't got the 2025 set of accounts. So this is the best thing we've got that we know is accurate and up to date. Okay. Now, I noted in here that obviously we said about the £1 million turnover. What I noted straight away was the gross profit at 56.5%. I think for a marketing agency of their size, I'm sort of thinking 60 to 65%. So they're a little bit behind in terms of what they're actually able to achieve there. And that's worth somewhere between £44,000 and £88,000 of additional profit. So let's get into it and understand why and what's going on. And did that through a discount impact analysis, right? But Mark told me that what he does is he quotes from like a rate card, right? And he then basically discounts that rate card in order to win the work. Okay, not unusual. It's just the case that it's just the case that actually it's hurting the business, I suppose, in that respect. When I asked him about what that discount was, he said that it's around 10 or 12%. Always, right? Every single pitch. And he's never won a pitch at the full rate card. Not once. And he assumed that what you had to do was to discount in order to win work. That was just the way in which he believed it worked. So we've got project revenue, 470,000. We've got the rate card, which is pre-discount, because we know that's the discounted rate at 12%. So the 470,000 they did do in revenue actually could have been £534,000 for the same work, right? The same work, and he's been 12% discounting that. So he's giving away £64,000 in terms of revenue. Okay. There's a gross margin, 52%, so it's £33,000 of additional margin that they could be making based off that work. Okay. So what I wanted to do was see what happens if we manage to actually halve the discounting. I've done some examples here at 12%, at 8%, 6%, and then no discount at all. And what we've actually been able to achieve, right? And so at 6%, we managed to get £28,200 back into the business. So what I didn't want to do is go to Mark, right, you can't discount at all, because I think he's gonna stumble, yeah, and he's not going to achieve that. But I go, what if we can convince him to the fact that he can drop it and go, let's go 6% discount on everybody, half of what they currently do, right? This is the target, and it's to get the same level of work, but to get that higher margin, which is going to add nearly 15,000 of additional profit back into the business. Okay, that's basically the process, right? Eliminate the discounting, just tackle it and get that back in. So what we need to do is add that back in. Okay, so the finding is the pricing, the discounting, and 12% discount always. The annual impact of that was 28,200. Action required, reduced to 6% discount. Okay, so we find further £28,200 there. Then it's the case that what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to look at the retainer clients. Yes, cool. We've got these retainer clients, right? And I've anonymized these, obviously, need to be clear. We've got client A through to client L, and there's 12 clients. There's different dates of when they started their various projects, the monthly fee that they're paying, when they last had price reviews, the annual value, and obviously whether then there's a fee increase relating to those. Now, the surprising thing is, when I asked when these were last reviewed, you can see that the legacy or older clients haven't, the ones never had a fee review, and the others haven't had them for a significant number of years. Okay. Now, there's nothing in there, right, for even inflation, which I think in a business of this size, clients are going to expect that. This one here, right, 8 years, and there's no review. There's never been anything relating to that client ever. So if you go 8 years, and the fact they've never had a review, even if that went up by inflation, there's tens of thousands of pounds that's been left on the table. It's sloppiness, but we can tidy it up. We can make it better, and we can really, really get things working better. So we're not going to do, obviously, everything in year one. So I done a quick calculation. I looked at 10% of the increase on the retainer revenue is £62,400. But that's not going to happen. But I think what we need to do is actually do it as half of that, 5% increase, and phase it in over the various clients and get them used to the fact that there's going to be a 5% or so increase every year. So it's going to keep coming back, doing more. So looking back at that project revenue, the retainer clients revenue at 624,000, then what we're able to do is get pricing right. No increases / price reviews. The annual impact, so if we're just going to do 5%, it's £31,000, and it's 5% increase, which is really, in my view, is for inflation. Okay, so you can see now it's really starting to rack up. We're up to £94,000, and I don't think we're doing anything that's that crazy. We're halving the discounts that are given, and we're introducing a 5% increase for inflation. And we can just go, look, we've got it wrong in the past. We've never really done that. We're gonna fix it now by getting a 5% in for this year. And this is going to be a regular thing that we're going to do going forward. Reduce that discounting by half, 28,200. Get the 5% in for inflation, 31,000. That means we've now up to that £94,000. And that's £59,200 found in this session. Okay. So just quickly looking at my notes there and going, this business has, I think it was 100,000. Let's just whip back over to that profit and loss. Yeah. This business got £118,000 of pre-tax profit. We have nearly found what we found, like 80% of that to go on top within 2 sessions. And we're not doing anything crazy. This business is one that's underperforming. And the answer that Mark was continually coming up with was we need to sell more. And I just don't think that's what's required. So I'd call that a success on this session. Also, now is a great time to say that if we're ever running this session with any businesses, we run a guarantee. And this isn't some mock guarantee or anything like that. It is literally, if we have not found what you've paid for this session, then we will give you your money back. Okay. At the time of me recording this is £1,500. It's probably going to go up in the future. So if you're watching this further down the line, it's probably more by this point. But £1,500 now, if we've not found £1,500 worth of profit that we can add to your business, not by us being crazy, as you've just seen, by us being sensible, then we cannot continue. We will go for guarantees not met, close the engagement, issue the refund, give you the money back, job done. Okay. But in this case, we can go, yes, we found it. We're going to move forward, which also is a great opportunity for me to say that if you're basically watching this and you're wondering whether your business has these kinds of leaks, of which most do, then you can go and try the profit gap tool yourself. Just head to tool.mbsaccountants.co.uk. And if what you find there just makes you want to go deeper and look more into things, then you can book a call with Jason, who's my head of growth. And if it makes sense, what we can do is do one of these full chaos to clarity sessions together with the full money back guarantee and see what we can find in your business. Anyway, let's get back to Mark. Hey guys, right, so it's session 3. And for session 3, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at client churn and retention. So quick recap, if we just dive back into the software, just as we're moving into session 3, we've already found £94,000 of additional profit, which is coming on 80% plus of where the profit was last year. Same business, just improvements, same team. Nothing's really changed apart from the business is being run much more efficiently than where it was at before. So today, what are we going to do? Quickly just diving into my notes. What I asked Mark to do was pull together the clients who had left over the last 12 months. And if you look here on screen, what you've got is 4 different clients, A, B, C, and D, the services that they were delivering, the monthly fee, and the known reason versus the real reason, right? Now, I've got some unlikely ones, possible ones. I think one that's really flexible and a bit of an unknown as well. There's a total of 4 clients that left in 2024. Average fee across these is £2,200. And that's £26,400 a year that's walked out the door. Like literally just revenue has got up and walked out. Now, asked Mark, obviously, why each of these left. Now, he didn't really know. There's no exit interview. There's people just stop. And you can see that here, right? This one just stopped. This one was just the invoice was not ended up being renewed. This one, okay, we do think that was a budget cut, but actually they tightened their marketing spend across the board. And this one has gone in-house. Now, Mark basically always assumed that price was the real reason relating to these. We don't actually know that, right? We've never actually asked anybody. So, with client one, right? They've gone in-house. They hired their own marketing manager and they're developing their own business strategically and better, I suppose, than what they were before. If I was hazarding a guess, I'd say that one's probably gone. I think it's unlikely that there's going to be any way of winning that back unless that marketing manager hasn't really worked out. So worth keeping on the radar, but I think that's probably done and gone. Client two, now we think that the reason there was a budget cut. So there's a possibility here that if that is the real reason, that there's an opportunity potentially to see if their budget's improved. Now they left coming up 12 months ago, right? It's currently April 2026. They left in May 2025. I'd hazard a guess that nobody from Apex has been in touch with that company to see if budget has changed and the situation's improved. Yeah, everything's gone. So I think that needs to be on the radar. Who knows, right? We don't know unless we have the conversation. So I don't think we can include it. It's just in there as a possible. Client three, they've been unhappy with response times. They raised it once informally, nothing really changed, so they just quietly left. Now, they raised it and nobody even followed up and they just left. That's a process failure, not a client decision. So there might be a case that that client can be winnable because you can go back and you can have the conversation, you can tell them everything you've fixed and get everything back, I suppose, where it was before. Client four, nobody really knows, right? They just sort of stopped paying. And again, nobody's picked up the phone, nobody's checked in what's going on. So we need to get that back on track and see if we can get that sorted. So I think, though, if you go with the fact that there's a reactivation possibility here and also the case in the future, right? There's a reactivation possibility with that one, which is £2,200 times 12, which is £26,400. I'm pretty confident that should be able to be won back. So there's a reactivation opportunity. What was found? So there's 4 clients. 1 good potential to win back. Okay, we said it was 26,400, and this was contact client C. So that's the finding we've had from that part. But what we don't have is any type of reactivation sequence. Now, we do have reactivation sequences that we use within our business. These are typical sort of email chains, yeah? So it will be a series of emails that go out to clients, contacting them and asking them about certain things, drumming up interest over a period of time. Ideally, leaning into pain points that you know exist because you've spoken to those people, you know what their pain points are, so it's compelling to them. So I'm not going to go through and build a full sort of 12-step CRM process and put all of that in place. But over the longer term, there's a potentially good opportunity for Mark to be spending his time there. Because if you can get it right, and that's only 4 clients from this year, but there's some from other years as well, and you can start winning some of those back, then there's potential good opportunity there. And there's also going to be people who inquired that they didn't win. They can also go into that nurture and reactivation sequence as well. So I think from my perspective, I think we shouldn't put in anything from the reactivation process at the moment. I don't think we've got enough data that I could go, yeah, let's be confident that we can do that. And we've got a big client list and we can go back out to them and so on. We've got 4 clients. I think contacting them directly, seeing if you can win one of them back, I think that's probably about it of what can be achieved within this session. Okay, so still working well though. At the end of this session, so far, we've managed to now find another £26,400 on top of what was already found in session 1 and session 2. We're now up to £120,432. And if you remember rightly, if we flip back to the Apex P&L, they are only making £118,000 of net profit pre-tax. So we have just found more than the last full year profits in these 3 sessions. So for me, I think that makes sense. And what we should try and do now is skip ourselves on to session 4 and see what is the total that we can end up finding for this client and see how much they can boost their profits by. Let's whip over into here and go into there. So we need to have a look at the retainer list on here. So back onto these retainer clients, right? Now we talked about these earlier in session 2. Now there's 12 retainer clients here. Average fee across all of these is roughly £4,300 a month. Now, when I spoke to Mark, what I asked him was, can you tell me what are the services each of these are taking? And you can see that listed down here, right? So he told me the various services. And I also then got him to say, like, which of these clients and which of them could you see taking logical steps towards more services, like literally signing up new things with? And to be fair, Mark was good on this. He knew the clients, he knew what they could potentially be taking. 3 clients are on social media management who aren't taking content creation. Seems like an easy potential conversation. Then we've got 2 on PR who aren't taking any email marketing. Again, makes sense, right? You should be able to convert those. What he did confirm, though, is he's never actually gone to any of those clients and asked them to see if they wanted any more services. And realistically, clients aren't realistically going to come to you and say, can I have more services, please? You're going to have to go to them and explain what additional services there are and then be able to build that further from there. What he needs to have is a real simple matrix of how he can potentially upsell these clients, right? So what we built was this real simple upsell approach. So we've got client A through to client L. We know their various monthly fees. We then basically tick in the services that they do have, so they're currently in green. We mark any services that we think are potentials, and then we leave off anything that we think, oh, they're not going to be able to take that. So for these guys, they've got brand, content, and PR, but they're not on the social management, social media management, and the email marketing section. So there's certainly a gap there that we should be talking about with that client. Yep. Not that difficult, right? So there's upsell opportunities across every single client. So with these gaps that are in here, I noted down that there are 5 particularly clear upsell conversations. And I think if you go really conservative and you go just 2 of those are going to convert, then from talking with Mark and running it all out, we've got the average upsell value is £760 per month. And that's £18,200 a year. No new clients are needed, right? That's the joy of this process. You don't have to go and sign new clients. So how do you even have that type of conversation, right? And that conversation doesn't go, would you like to buy more of what we sell? That's just not going to work, right? It needs to be along the lines of that we've been reviewing the work that we carry out with you, and we realize that you're not currently using us for X service, right? Social media management or email marketing, content creation, whatever that service may actually be. And explain to them that you think you can help get more, do better in that area. And ask for permission. Like, can we put something together to show you what we could do for you in that area? It's about a client conversation, yeah? To go and review, in this case, their marketing processes and just go, these are all the areas we could help you with. We noticed you're not doing this. Most of the people we work with who do this bit also do this bit with us because it makes the most sense, because it gives this result, and this is better because, and then just ask for permission, put it together. So what we need to do really is we need to pop over to the Chaos to Clarity app and we need to add these bits in, yeah? So session 4, what have we managed to find? So first of all, we managed to do the upsell mapping, right? So in the upsell, we're just going for the fact that we're going to get 2 convert. Lots of opportunity. 2 out of 5 convert, right? And we are going for the fact that that's 18,200 a year. Action required, have the upsell conversation. Which, as I said, it's not really an upsell yet. It's a have the conversation with them to go, where could we be supporting you better? So that's another £18,000 that we've found there. Now, from the other side of things, from the bits we were just looking at, right, having all of this upsell and everything together, that now brings us to this fantastic total opportunity found of £138,632, all on a business that only did £118,000 worth of profit last year. Let's just recap and run through all of those various things that we found, right? In session 1, we reviewed the costs of the business, yeah? We found that there was an oversized premises, there was various software that was being used that wasn't really needed, and there was also internet and phone that were rolled on old contract rates. And we found just over, or just short of, £35,000 in that one session. In session 2, we moved on to the fact of margins and pricing. We found 2 ways of which things need to be happening. One is there's constantly discounts being given at the moment. Not going to cut them out. We're just going to have them. We're going to go from a 12% discount to a 6%. That's going to mean if the business stayed at the same levels that it did last year of winning that work, then you're going to get an extra £28,200 in the business. Then there's been no increase or price reviews over multiple years. I think 8 years was the longest standing client. So we're going for the fact that there's going to be a 5% inflation across the board. That's 31 grand for the whole year. Then we dived into the fact of the churn and retention. You've got clients who have left, and we need to be able to fix, I suppose, those clients and stop that happening. So there's 4 clients. One is a real opportunity to win back at 26,400 a year. I think it's doable and achievable, but who knows until you have that conversation. But there's 4 real strong cases there, and I think 2 of the others could be potential ones that, with the conversation, if it goes well, could be ones that can get back onto there as well. So by the end of session 3, we found £120,000. And then as we rolled into session 4, the one we've just looked at most recently, were lots of opportunity to be able to do average order value increases across the board for all the clients. Found just £18,200. I say just. It's a significant amount, I suppose, in this business. And I've got to have that upsell conversation. Now, we would go through and we'd teach a bit more of what that upsell conversation looks like, but there's multiple ways of doing it. But overall, this business can add £138,632 to its business, and I think it's doable within the next 90 days. And some of this is doable within the sessions. We did that back in session 1 when we had some of the things here. We changed within the point of where we found them, saving the business thousands of pounds per year. So, from my perspective, if you're running a service business, particularly a marketing business, if this appeals to you, if you're running any type of service business and you've at least got £500,000 worth of revenue, but ideally £1 million or more, and you'd like to experience this for your business, to find where all the money is leaking and to tighten up those leaks that you have in your bucket, then why not head over to our tool first of all and see where the profit gaps are first of all. Simply head to tool.mbsaccountants.co.uk. If you like what you see, there's options in there to book in a call with Jason, who's our head of growth. He will go through things with you, make sure you understand everything, and then if it's right for you, we'll get you booked onto your own Chaos to Clarity session to see what profit we can find in your business. Thanks so much to listening to guys today. As my business mentor Dan always says, if you want a better business, then you must become a better business owner. Now, I would personally take that one step further, right? Becoming a better business owner starts with looking through your business lens. And that lens is your numbers. They always tell a story. And with the right help, we usually find a lot of leaking profit. So until next time, and don't forget, the numbers always reveal the